Right, hello, let's give this a go. If you can hear that, I'm sorry, it's a bit like the equivalent of nails being dragged down a blackboard, which makes for really nice viewing, I find. I am not in my normal recording spot. I am not even in my normal recording country. I am visiting my sister in Australia, where they are having very high winds, and I am in her guest little area, and there is a big eucalyptus tree that is just dragging its branches back and forth across the roof, which is kind of unpleasant. But I'm hoping maybe it's not going to pick up as much on the recording. So, you know, fingers crossed for that. So yes, I am currently in Australia visiting my other sister and nieces. So I got in last night and I am a bit tired, but I think this is the only quiet day I'm going to have. So I thought, well, I would like to record a podcast. Why not do it in Australia? So I brought all my stuff with me, but I'm not with my normal recording equipment and I don't necessarily have everything to hand. So I'm hoping that that doesn't matter and it's just gonna somehow all work out miraculously. So fingers crossed. So it's episode, I've got no idea what episode it is. But it's been a while since I podcast last, so there's like loads of finished stuff to talk about and like stuff that's happened in between times, which is really exciting. So I went to the Knit Tea retreat, which was just lovely. It's the second year I've been, and now the third Knit Tea retreat I've been to. For those of you who don't know, it's a retreat that is organised by the lovely Jenny, Owl About Yarn, and Zoe, Pins and Needles UK. And they run 2 a year, one in Cardiff, which has got like workshops and tutors and things you can pick from, and another in Stratford, which is like one big long knit night. And it's always really good fun, and now because it's the third one I've been to, like there's a really nice crew there. I feel like, you know, I know people, because the first time I went, didn't know anybody, and it's always a bit nerve-wracking going to something where you don't know anybody, but everyone is so lovely, and yeah, it was really nice. So I did 2 classes. I did short rows with Renee Callahan, which was really good. I really enjoyed doing that. And something about somatics, neck and shoulder somatics, with a lovely lady from Dublin / Germany. Kirsten? Can't remember. I think she's Soma Dublin. But that was really good, and it's about movements and how you sit and stuff. I should probably be thinking about that a bit more today. So the other exciting thing that happened at the Knit Tea retreat was that I had a little stall at the marketplace, because this past 6 months I've been playing around with some fleeces from my next door neighbours, and I found somebody who is happy to spin them. It's not hand spinning, it's a lady based in Lincolnshire, and she just has a very small setup. She's a one-woman outfit, and she's been spinning up some of this yarn for me from my next door neighbours, because I asked them what they did with their sheep fleeces and they said nothing really, but they would be interested to know what they could do. And so I've been organising for it to be turned into yarn, which is really exciting. And the first batch of that came through just in time for the Knit Tea retreat, and so I had a little stall at the marketplace, nothing on the same scale as what the other sellers there had, but it was really good fun. So there were Jacobs, and I spent quite a lot of time sorting the fleeces. So obviously Jacobs are kind of black and white and spotty and all sorts of colours, so I did a bit of sorting so that there was some natural cream colour and some natural black kind of brown colour, and then just like a mix. And so here's what has come back. So this is the Jacob cream, and it turns out a lot softer than you're expecting. but it's also quite like a thick and thinner yarn. Actually, this is quite a good example. You can see like there are some areas where it's come out a bit thicker than others. But yeah, it's just so nice, and and I found out it's really good for colour work. So there was a cream, and like I said, I did a whole load of this kind of charcoaly, very, very dark brown. It is actually brown, but it kind of almost looks black. And so I played around and came up with a design for some mitts, and they're called the Ghost Stag mitts, and I'll pop a picture if I can in here. Funnily enough, I didn't bring any warm woolen mitts to Australia. It's not quite the time of year for it here. But what I did bring is kind of inspired by the knits and the fact that this works really well for colour work. I thought I'd have a play around. I'm still loving my jumpers, so I'm making a jumper. It's going to be a bottom up, probably a drop sleeve, but using that same chart along the bottom. So lots of little stags along the bottom. But I don't know if you can see it. It's looking a bit kind of bobbly now, but with the mitts it blocks out really nicely and lay really flat, and it's quite like a sticky yarn as well, so makes it really nice for colour work. But it's also very light and very warm, so I'm really looking forward to having that done. I'm nearly done with the colour work pattern, and then I think it's just going to be plain black, brown all the way up. So yeah, I'm really excited. Oh no, I've just lost, so excited, I've lost stitches. Whoops, doing too much. So I'm really excited about that, and it got a really lovely response at the retreat, which I was so touched about, because I was selling the yarn and the pattern together as a small kit. So most of it went, actually. I've decided I'm not going to be selling online because I'm just hopeless at getting stuff into the post around my other working life, and so rather than kind of let people down, I've decided I'm only going to sell, you know, very rarely, and I don't have an enormous amount. They're only like 6 fleeces, so yeah, quite a small amount to start with, but there's more on the way, so that's really fun. So yeah, you might see that I've called that Charlie Button yarns, along with the Charlie Button patterns that have been coming out. And I've been very busy on the Charlie Button patterns. So not only did I do the ghost mitts for the Charlie Button yarns, lovely Katrin, who many of you will know from Instagram, I think she's C Lois H on Instagram. She does an enormous amount of work for a breast cancer charity based in Wales, where she got huge amounts of support for her own passage through breast cancer as well, and she asked me if I would design a pattern for October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the UK, and so I did. And so this is a sock. She asked me to design a sock, and it's got this small little lace pattern on it which kind of looks like boobies if you look at them in a certain light. Or if you don't look at them in a certain light, you've just got a nice little lace pattern around your ankle. So this pattern is now available on Ravelry. It's called the Check Your Boobs pattern, and percentage of that, well actually pretty much all of it, after Ravelry have taken their fees and stuff like that and taxes have been taken off, will go towards Katrin's breast cancer charity and other UK breast cancer charities as well to support that. So that was launched for October, but the pattern is still available. It's a fun little pattern, so if you wanted to do something to support breast cancer charities, go and have a look for them. So those are the Check Your Boobies, Check Your Boobs, I think they are on Ravelry. So yeah, that was really fun. And then there was also a special yarn that was dyed up called, I think, Cotton Candy by Lorna Jane Makes, but that wasn't exclusive, so I think you might have missed that one now. But anyway, Katrin does an awful lot of stuff, and an amazing amount of work goes into it. So well done, Katrin. And yeah, if you fancy checking your boobies, please do. But also if you fancy a pair of socks to remind you to do so, that's the pattern, Check Your Boobs. And additionally, I designed a pattern for Kelly from Lay Family Yarns. Kelly is starting the is it called the Lay Family Retreat? It's got a cleverer name than that. So she sent me a couple of her yarns, and I designed a cowl, which I again don't have with me because it's not the weather for cowls, but with her alpaca floof, and I've called that layer cake because she's Kelly, it's the Lay family, so I've done layer cake, so I'll insert a picture of that. So yeah, it's been a busy pattern designing time for accessories and for kind of collaborations with other people as well, so that was really nice. And also it's been a lovely month of kind of meeting new yarny people. I had my needles taken away from me again at an airport en route to Dubai, and so I put out a call on Instagram to see if anybody knew where I could get replacement needles in Dubai, and somebody put me in touch with the very lovely Jocelyn, who has a kind of roving sorry, God, it's really bad, can you hear that? I hope you can't. Jocelyn has a kind of roving yarn company in Dubai, and she's called Dubai Knits, and she dyes her own yarns as well. So bless her, she met up with me. I only had 24 hours in Dubai, but I had a long onward flight and wanted to make sure I had something to do on that. So I've managed to buy some needles off her, which allowed me to keep on knitting, and also I picked up some of her lovely yarns as well, which I will try and insert a picture of here. Although actually I do have some just next door. Hold on. Right, so here they are, because I brought them with me in case I finish a jumper and like 8 pairs of socks I brought with me to finish. So these are from the lovely Jocelyn, and one thing that I'm getting more and more interested in is natural dyes, and Jocelyn dyes with natural dyes in Dubai. She dyes with acid dyes as well, but so I picked up 3 of them. I'm sorry, this my ball winder is not, we're not really friends anymore, and it keeps doing like mad stuff to any kind of ball of wool I try and wind. So excuse that and just focus on the colours. Aren't they beautiful? What so yeah, I'm getting more and more into natural dyes. So if you're either passing through Dubai, check out Jocelyn. I'll put in her Instagram name and stuff so you can see it. And I think you can buy from her online. And they've got a yarn shop as well. So she was just so lovely. You know when you instantly meet someone and think, yeah, she's cool. So those are them. And I think I'm going to make a shawl and maybe a pattern with it. So let's see about that. So that's my next project. And talking about natural dyes, one of the dyers who I've been getting really interested in since the Knit Tea Retreat in Stratford in June is Fee of Flourish Fibres. Now Fee again does both natural dyes and the kind of more commercial acid dyes, I think they're called. And so I caught up with her at the Knit Tea Retreat in Cardiff, where she was at the marketplace again, and had a bit of a chat with her about her dyeing and what she does. See, an interview. Isn't it amazing? I finally managed to do an interview with a yarn dyer. So I'm going to insert that here and then come back to you and talk to you about what I've made with her yarns.
Hello Charlie, Yarn Ambassador.
Hello Fee,
Hello.
Flourish Fibres.
Flourish
How are you
Fibres.
doing?
I'm
Thank
good.
you for joining me here at the Knit Tea Retreat Marketplace. We're just outside the toilets. The marketplace hasn't yet started. But I want to ask you a little bit about your yarns.
Indeed.
And so talk to me about your yarns and what it is you do and how you dye them.
Okay, I do normal dyeing like every other dyer, and I also do natural dyeing, which I do more of because I find it more fun. It's more interesting, very unpredictable. I do a lot where I go out and I forage for things, which is just fun in itself. So, you know, just go out and forage. I happen to live near a little park that Cheltenham Council don't know that I use as a basis for acquiring.
They might do now, although I'm probably certain they don't watch the Yarn Ambassador podcast.
So I'm out there cutting out the tops of reeds and taking them home and soaking them and then heating them up and putting the yarn
And
in.
how did you get into natural dyeing?
Do you know, I've been doing it for so long, I can't
really?
really remember. I think the first dye, I did a felt making City and Guilds back in the day when there was a lot of City and Guilds around. And I think that was probably the first dyeing I did. We did some turmeric dyeing and stuff like that. So that was probably what started me off. That was a long time ago.
And so what are the main differences between the end result that you get when you knit something with dye something with natural dye and you dye something with the more kind of commercial dyes?
I would say natural dyes all seem to go together. There's some inherent thing in the science of them that means that all the colours go together, and I guess it's because they've come from nature rather than being chemicals that have been mixed in a laboratory. So the other thing I like about them, which is for me rather than the dyer, for the dyer rather than the end knitter, is that they're really unpredictable. So there's a patch of Mahonia bushes near my house.
What is a Mahonia
Mahonia
bush?
is also known as Oregon grape, and it's got very spiky leaves and sort of trails of purple berries, which you might have seen them.
Yes.
Yes, and you can dye with those. So I picked them last year to go in my advent calendar, and I got kind of a bluey, greeny, sagey colour, slightly leaning purple. And then this year, the same bushes I picked for this year's advent calendar, sneak peek, and I got a bluebell purpley blue.
Oh my
From
God.
the same bushes 2 years running, and it's obviously affected
And did
by...
the same thing each...
Did the same
yeah.
thing, same type
Wow.
of yarn has gone into it, but it's obviously affected by weather, you know, because
wonderful.
last year we had a hotter spring, I think, and you know, so it's all different things ripen at different times of year, so they're affected by different bits of the weather, the soil, the water, everything, and it gives you a lovely, unpredictable result, and you just never know what you're going to get.
Well, I'm very excited because I have signed up for one of your advent
I know.
calendars that will be coming. I don't suppose there are any left, are there?
There are some left, actually,
There are
if
some
any of you
left.
would like to place an order.
Well, there you go.
Hurry up.
So, next thing, I've got to ask you what you're wearing
I
because
am
it is
wearing
fabulous.
Yell by Marie Wallen, and these bits are obviously natural colours. They're
Is this dyed
Jane-
by you?
These are all dyed by me. They're all plant dyes and dyed by
my
me.
goodness.
And I can't probably remember them all, but it's Saxon blue, which is a type of indigo, and that's madder. And I think this is Kutch, and there's various other things, but it's a while since I did it.
And you're
so I
so
can't
right.
remember.
They do all just go
They
together.
do all go together,
Absolutely.
don't they?
And
Yeah.
what is your favourite plant-based thing to dye with?
Probably madder. I
Madder.
love madder because I love the reddy, orangey, salmony colours that you get from madder.
Well, is there going to be some of that in the advent calendar?
Oh, I can't possibly
No,
reveal.
that would be asking too much. Don't keep it to yourself.
It's a
Well,
secret till 1st of December when you start opening it.
And so, aside from the Knit Tea Retreat where we are
Yes.
today, what other places are you going to be vending at where people might be able to find
I've
you?
only got one booked at the moment, which is Etsy Made Local in Cirencester, New Brewery Arts, and it's the 30th of November.
Wonderful.
nice.
So that's an
Coming up to
opportunity
Christmas.
there. Well, thank you very much, Fee. We should probably go and get ourselves sorted. But thank you very much,
You're
and I can't
welcome.
wait till my advent calendar.
Hooray!
Lovely Fee, and I love that coat jacket cardigan thing she was wearing. It's beautiful, and I think she's got a real point that with natural dyes they do go really well together. But even when she's dyeing with the commercial dyes, she's got a very natural feeling colour palette. Everything's quite kind of gentle and muted, and so you will notice that I am wearing this now. This is a pattern from Siona land, and it's called Jersey dos Colores. And to be fair, I slightly butchered the pattern, but I just wanted something light to throw on. And these are using Fee's dyed yarns. It's a sock yarn, it's a sock weight pattern, and it's really very simple. It's just a kind of straight up, straight down, and it doesn't hide a lot of things. It's also, the pattern is only in Spanish. So I kind of did some vague interpreting, and then I didn't want to be going backwards and forwards, so I tried to do it in the round, but then there weren't any. So the pattern, it is neither the pattern designer's fault, but I slightly butchered the pattern. I think it's only available in one size, and I think there are like vague instructions on how to adapt it. Anyway, talking about the yarns, not the pattern. Let me know what you think, by the way, because also I'm just not. Doesn't really hide my belly. That again, my fault. Did I swatch? No, of course I didn't. Doesn't hide a multitude of sins, but I just love the colours, and it's knit at a very loose gauge, which makes it very airy and light. And like on a day-to-day where it's quite blowy, but it's quite warm, it's delightful to just have this on to give a little extra bit of warmth, but without being too hot. Anyway, back to the yarn. So these are all Fee's colours. This colour at the top is my absolute favourite of her colours. Now these are all using acid dyes. I think none of the ones I've got from her so far are natural dyes, which is why I'm really excited for the advent calendar. But this one up here is a beautiful kind of mix of yellows and greys, and this one is called Inscrutable. And I paired it with this kind of barely there grey, which I think is called Ghost. Sorry. And isn't it beautiful? It's really, will I stand up? See, I've been a bit of a buffet monster recently. I'm going to try that. Anyway, there you go. You get the impression. So the colours are just beautiful. And in fact, I love the colours so much. Part of me is wondering whether I just unpick this and make a shawl with it, because then I'll probably get more wear out of it than this. And it's one of those projects where I'm kind of half happy with it, half not happy with it. Don't think it's doing a lot for me, but I love the colours. I essentially just wanted to look like the lady in the pattern. Does anyone else do that? Buy patterns just because the person in the pattern looks really cool and you're like, yes, in my head, that's who I am. When in reality, this is what I am. So I should probably just start choosing patterns based on that, not... it's like when you go to the hairdressers and they're like, here, can you make me look like this Hollywood celebrity? And everyone's slightly disappointed that a hairdresser can't achieve that. Anyway, sorry. So, this is an example of what Fee's colours are like, and I absolutely love them. I love kind of very muted, very classic palette, so I absolutely love it. Now the other pièce de résistance that I have finished is this beauty. So this is the Ember sweater from, and I've written it down, Yuko Shimizu. Yuko Shimizu. She's based in Japan, and she has got these amazing, I might put it on in a second to show you, but again I used Fee's colours in here. So the one I used in this one was the speckled yarn. So this is her speckled egg colourway. Again, a commercial dye. And then you can see that's this colour that I've used again just in here. This pattern, I have to say, did my head in a bit because this is 3 colour work. I shan't be doing that again. That was a real headache, especially because this part of the jumper, that was about 600 stitches on my needles. That's just not happening again. So I paired Fee's colours with Grandad's Backer from Down Sheepy Lane, and this one here which is called Firecracker, which is also from Down Sheepy Lane. So I think they work really well together, and a kind of autumnal mixture. And again, it's those kind of natural tonals that I really go for. Lovely pattern. Probably one of the most intense things I've ever made. Would I make another? Probably not. It's a kind of one of a kind, once in your lifetime only kind of knit for this. Which is why it is, I was somewhat disappointed to find out I'd knit about 4 sizes too big for me. No, I didn't do a swatch. Obviously, let's get that out of the way. But I think I had been knitting with the same yarn and the same needles, so I kind of knew roughly where I was at with gauge. And to come out rather huge. Now I was really hoping that I might be able to just like style it out. If I put in the picture, again I saw the picture and was like, yeah, I want to be that. It's supposed to be a little bit oversized, right? I think maybe it didn't mean to be this oversized. So I'm going to do a quick change and show you and see what you think. So what I'm probably going to do is... don't know. The phone's talking to me. Stop it. I'm probably going to see if I can style it out. I'm going to wear it a couple of times, see how I feel about it. And if not, gift it to someone who has a more ample bosom than myself, because I think it just needs filling out a bit more, and then it would have that nice, slightly oversized look without being ridiculous. So I'll show you. Okay, so here it is. See, it's a bit hard to tell. Now, what do we think? Can I style that out, or is it just a bit too, like I'm wearing my boyfriend's oversized sports t-shirt or something? Anyway, I really love it. It does feel a bit too oversized for me at the moment, but I'm just gonna maybe I'll just sit here with it and see how I feel about it for the next 2 or 3 minutes or so while I finish up. But anyway, that's the Ember sweater, and it is just a thing of beauty. So I'm really chuffed with that. I'm really chuffed I got to use Fee's yarns in it again. So check out Fee's stuff, because I think it is, this whole return to natural dyes is a skill that is something we really need to reclaim, and so many dyers are doing it. And yes, it might not create the neon pops and the crazy bright colours that have been kind of trending in hand-dyed yarns, but I was never really a massive fan of them anyway, so for me it's lovely. Obviously there are some rich colours, like these are all commercially dyed, and you just get some beautiful colours with it. So it's a bit, I don't know quite which way to go, but I am preferring to return to something where it's sustainable and it's more natural. Like the wool I've been having created, and like the natural dyes as well. So that's just kind of something I'm thinking about. I have finished other stuff in the past couple of months as well. I finished a weekender, so I think last time I showed some yarn that I'd picked up when I was in Oban. A Hebridean kind of crazy twist, and so I finished that. I'm really chuffed with it. That's probably my new favourite like warm weather sweater. I've been wearing it an awful lot. And have I finished anything else? I mean, that's quite a lot of things, to be fair. Look, I finished this, and I finished a weekender, and I finished some patterns and stuff. So I'm going to say that yes, that's probably enough to have finished. And so now I've got another jumper on the needles, I've got a scarf project, I have the second one of my Check Your Boobs socks to finish, because yes, I only made one. And yeah, so there's lots going on. I'm really looking forward to getting my advent calendar from Fee, and I think that's about where I'm at. I've just realised, being out, this isn't sunburn, this is actually windburn, because it has been so windy outside and on the coast where I just was, that it's made my face red. I did have sun cream on, because it's very important to protect. Right then, I think that's it. I hope to see you soon. If you haven't already, go and check out Flourish Fibres, Fee from Flourish Fibres. Thank you to Fee for doing an interview with me, and I can't wait for my advent calendar. Have I said that already? I'm really excited about my advent calendar. I don't know quite what I'm going to make out of it. Maybe some scrappy socks, or maybe I'll find like a shawl pattern. I'm not sure. One of the things she did tell me was she's done it so that there's a kind of order to them. She hasn't just randomly thrown them in by date, which is really nice, because then it means I can be confident that the colours that come next are going to work. So that's brilliant. Right, thank you very much. I'm going to take this off now because it's rather warm, and you know, I've got like double the amount of material going on around me. I think maybe I can carry it. I don't know. It was supposed to be cropped, but as you can see, it's not that cropped. Anyway, sorry, I'm just gabbling now. Alright then, hope to see you soon. Thank you very much for lasting this long. If you have, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more of these, then subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Yarn Ambassador if you'd like. Alright, take care, bye bye!